This is really fascinating because it did seem like it was put together in a hurry, and at least from perhaps a regulator's side, it was put together in a hurry. So what's the difference here? Why had UBS been spending a year looking at this?
Well, it really dates back many years. You know, UBS had done some contingency planning in the past of like, what would this look like? And then Kelleher, early this year, you know, he saw Credit Suisse's situation and saw the likelihood was higher that something, you know, might happen. So they brought in a team from Morgan Stanley, where Kelleher used to work, and they started kind of digging into what would a deal look like. And you know, that allowed them to move very quickly when, in a matter of days, Credit Suisse unraveled.
How does the market judge this purchase? I mean, we say, you know, forced takeover, and obviously there will be a flurry of lawsuits, and AT1s were written down to zero. But in the end, for UBS, was it a gift? Is it a windfall? Is this a jackpot?
Mm-hmm. I think, you know, it's a very cheap price. You know, by compared to the book value, it's 5 cents on the dollar. It is reminiscent somewhat of JP Morgan's purchase of Bear Stearns, where, you know, you had a bit of a backstop from the government. You had a cheap price. JP Morgan ended up increasing that bid ultimately, but, you know, allows them to pick up a very attractive business, but with some problems attached. So I think, you know, we'll have to see over the next couple of years how this looks in terms of the cost to unwind the pieces they don't want. That will be the big variable here. But certainly they have a lot of downside protection with the fact that the AT1s were written off and that they have this government backstop for the non-core losses.
But effectively what happens is you have this Swiss behemoth, the kind of one bank to rule them all. It just means less competition in the markets. Do regulators then turn around and say, actually, UBS, you need to start spinning off some assets. You're just too big now?
Yeah, and that's something that came up at that initial press conference after the deal of would they need to spin off the Swiss unit. UBS would like to keep that unit. They argue that domestically, you know, they're bigger among the large corporates, but there are enough smaller banks that on a retail basis, they're not too dominant. But that is going to be a political issue. It's already gaining attention in Switzerland. But I think, you know, globally, the big challenges are to merge these wealth businesses and to wind down the pieces of the investment bank that they don't want. And Kelleher has done those things before at Morgan Stanley. Morgan Stanley had to merge two wealth businesses. They had to fix the investment bank. Kelleher was in charge of fixing the problem trading business. So he has done this before. He knows the playbook here.
All right.